Good evening, welcome to Have I Got News For You? I'm Sharon Horgan. In the news this week, at Gatwick, half-term is a busy week for the Ryanair baggage handlers. In Morocco, it's opening day for the new Cristiano Ronaldo football school. And in Alabama, the Ku Klux Klan unwind on a family fun day. On Ian's team tonight, a comedian who was a big fan of Ronnie Barker and says he cried when he died. It's interesting, I lit 4 candles. Welcome, please, Joe Wilkinson. And with Paul tonight is a TV presenter who once said that the person he most despises is Cuban leader Fidel Castro. Well, we checked, and apparently the feeling's mutual. It's Richard Madeley. So, we start with the bigger stories of the week. Ian and Joe, take a look at this.
All right, that's a FIFA man getting into a car. There's another one.
It's Father Christmas.
Oh, and that's the presents.
That's what you have.
Isn't that lovely? Oh, look, who could the winner be?
It's her, yeah.
Well, this was election night. I hope everyone stayed up. It's fantastic.
Who's going to win?
Who's going to win?
Oh.
Oh, it was Blatter.
Yeah.
Did you stay up for Blatter?
Well, yeah, of course I did. It was a very nervous time, you know. It's one box to tick. Who's going to win? Oh, yeah, it is him, yeah.
It's a funny name, really. It sounds like a disease for a fish, doesn't it? Sepp Blatter.
Yeah. Especially when you think that Sepp's short for septic.
Is it?
Septic bladder.
I just made that up.
His name's an anagram of Pratt Buster. It's not really.
I like the fact the American Federation were going to fire Chuck Blazer, you know, the whistleblower.
The guy with the beard?
Yeah, they were going to fire him because... I don't think it was anything to do with the scandal. I think they just realised that you can't have anyone involved in football who's called Chuck.
A bit like Bung.
Yeah, I love the fact they stuck to the ballot. When they opened the ballot box, they sort of went, right, let's have a look who's won. There's one for Sepp Blatter.
I just love the fact that, because obviously Sepp Blatter won, and then the whole of FIFA had a go at England.
Yes.
And the most disgusting thing about England is we have a free press. Oh, how awful. I think it was a Greek delegate, said, typical English word, these allegations. English word, allegation. You thought, there's a picture taken of a brown envelope full of money with the country who it's going to on it. That's not an allegation, that's proof.
There's the English using facts again.
Yeah.
Typical.
But he was unopposed last time. This is his 4th time.
Yeah, 13 years. Maybe he'll die.
Well, there's a cheery thought.
But they could, as a tribute, use his skull in the final.
That's a lovely idea.
It's a tribute!
Or as the cup.
Indeed, absolutely, yeah. Andrew Marr should be the cup. You can pick him up like that.
So, who blew the whistle on the corruption, then? I think
Father Christmas.
Father Christmas did. Chuck Blazer. Well, anyway, The Times said that for many years he's been doing an impression of a man having an absolutely fabulous time, but now he's got serious. Here he is being serious. So, according to The Guardian, a Swiss newspaper published the results of a survey indicating that 86% of the population believed Blatter to be corrupt. But in the interests of balance, we should point out that 93% said he was only a bit corrupt. It also emerged that a representative of the Paraguayan delegate, Dr. Nicholas Leoz, asked for a special favour to vote for England's World Cup bid. Do you know what that special favour was?
Was it Kylie Minogue?
Oh, he wanted the cup named after him.
He did, yes. He wanted the FA Cup named after him.
The Argentinian delegate said, you've got to give back the Falklands. Thought, yeah, we had a war there, a lot of people died, no problem, it's football.
Did you see the front page of The Sun this week?
No.
It had a picture of Sepp, and next to it was a big picture of Colonel Gaddafi, and the headline was, Despot the Difference.
Oh, that's brilliant.
It's a bit harsh on Sepp, I thought.
I think it's pretty harsh on Gaddafi. I as elections go, I think Libya's pretty free and fair compared to
He
FIFA.
doesn't like football, doesn't he? No.
Like Gaddafi, he's got a lot of unusual titles. Do you know any of those?
Chief Crook.
He's actually a knight of the Sultanate of Pahang. Isn't that a Dire Straits song? I think it is. And in 1971, he was elected President of the World Society of the Friends of Suspenders. That was in protest at the spread of tights. What were Prince William's views on all this?
They got him to say he was very disappointed, didn't they?
Sort of. His spokesman said Prince William considers the transparency of the international governing body to be integral to the good governance of the game.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't say that.
Sounds more like something Harry would say. Didn't someone say that he offered a seat at his wedding for support for the World Cup as a sort of...
Bribe.
Bribe. I'm not saying bribe.
I heard that. I think those delegates want more than a seat at the back of the Abbey. No, they're looking for $100,000.
Or a
Seat in the
golden
Abbey?
cake.
I mean, I could have had tickets to the Abbey for half that.
Did you go? Were you there? Oh. Were you there,
Too
Paul?
busy doing the cocaine.
So England could withdraw completely from FIFA in protest. What would happen then?
We would no longer be able to play football.
I've changed my mind about the whole subject.
According to the Times, they would be pariahs, reviled throughout the world with no chance of taking part in major finals. So no change there then. Would anyone like to hear a funny FIFA joke?
Yes.
Take it away, ex-Manchester United manager Tommy Doherty.
We're never surprised anything that happens in the game today. I mean, FIFA. It's a FIFA this and a FIFA that.
FIFA this and a FIFA that. Very good, man. Tommy Doherty, very good to talk to you. Thanks ever so much.
So this is the FIFA corruption scandal, which is threatening to drag football's reputation into the gutter, and that's according to Ryan Giggs. So, Trinidad and Tobago football chief Jack Warner has been suspended amidst bribery allegations, and some delegates from the Bahamas were allegedly offered thousands of dollars for their vote. It's now being made into a film, Pirates of the Caribbean 5. According to The Sun, the FIFA presidency vote took place at the Mess Centre in Zurich, but only because the farcical cock-up centre was already booked. Sepp Blatter has been described as a man who has 50 ideas a day, 51 of them bad. Well, there's a job waiting for him at ITV then. I didn't mean that. So it's not the first time that Sepp Blatter has been at the centre of a storm. In 2004, he said that women footballers should wear more feminine clothes like they do in volleyball, for example, tighter shorts. Although, to be fair, tight shorts can be a good thing.
Is that a real photo?
Yes, that's a real photo, Ian, yes.
So, Paul and Richard, here's a story for you.
Oh, right.
Can you just give us a moment to recover from the picture?
2 minutes silence, I think we'd do.
Is it possible to have some counselling? Oh, here we go.
Edible Dalek.
Yep, that's probably from Blue Pete or something. The Daleks have mutated into a new species. Presumably that's a retirement home, and that's where the Daleks are going at the moment because they're being rested. You know, they don't do much, so you've got to see them in small doses. You can't sort of... Because if you think about it too much, it is the old thing about we just go upstairs and that's it.
But they float now.
Oh, they float?
Yeah.
I know, yeah.
The devils.
Yeah.
Didn't they give them a new catchphrase, which is elevate, elevate?
They actually do say that.
Oh,
Yeah,
do they?
do they?
I know it's weird.
There's one who works in a beauty parlour near me. He also going exfoliate, exfoliate. They can get jobs anywhere. They can get jobs anywhere.
Professor of Logic. Extrapolate.
Professor of Logic. I'd like to be a professor of logic.
It'd be
You have a
brilliant.
day
wouldn't
off
it?
when you just do illogical things. Eat a balloon or something. Day off, mate.
I like the idea of the Daleks being retired and having to go and live in a home with each other. Sooner they just tell boring theatrical anecdotes. Do you remember when we took on the Doctor?
The Daleks talk like Alan Bennett, like all your impressions. Every impression is Alan Bennett.
But I think they should be retired. I mean, the Doctor always wins. I mean, the tension's gone. You know, from episode 1, you know what's going to happen. You know how this will end.
Well, that's the end for this quiz, then.
I'd like to see him, now they're retired, come back maybe in other shows like EastEnders.
Yeah.
The new landlord of the Vic. Or Pat's new husband. Pat. I can't do an impression.
No, it's terrific. Doesn't sound at all like Alan Bennett.
Ian can do an impression, but it will sound like Alan Bennett. Can do a Dalek in EastEnders.
Go on, say exterminate, Ian.
Oh, exterminate. Look, I mean, you don't think... I mean, they're actors, the Daleks.
Yeah, but they're typecast, to be honest. I mean, how many Shakespearean roles are you going to get with a plunger sticking out your head? 4 at the most. Well, Daleks of Verona, you know, it doesn't work.
Davros and Juliet.
The executive producer, Stephen Moffat, said that we thought it was about time to give them a rest. They are the most reliably defeatable enemies in the universe. They have been defeated by the Doctor about 400 times. I think that's stretching a bit. I've checked, and the Doctor's actually been defeated by the Daleks 37 times. It's not true, I just made it up, but you know Doctor Who fans, they're not bothered by little details like that. So what has Anthony Weiner of the Doctor Who Appreciation Society had to say about this?
Was it something very sensible?
Something reasonable?
Something reasonable, based on a general sort of worldview and a sociable outlook to appeal to people? Was he consult with his girlfriend or wife or a significant other before he said this, or is he coming from a bed-sitting witness?
He's a bit upset.
Yeah,
he said, Doctor Who without the Daleks is like Wimbledon without the strawberries and cream. I just can't imagine it without them.
Well, luckily, there's loads of DVDs that feature the Doctor and the Daleks, so you don't have to forget about it. It's just there. There is a record. It's a TV programme. People recorded it.
Yeah.
You can see it again.
Are strawberries and cream that dangerous?
You tried to buy them.
Yeah, they are. Incendiary. It's like two things that shouldn't go together. It's like pasta and antipasta. You put the two together, there's an almighty explosion.
No,
it's like having strawberries and cream.
The world ends. Some of the Daleks
Yes.
actually made a strange career choice in 2005. Do you know what that might have been?
Formed a boy band?
No, they actually, according to The Sun, they
Yes.
appeared in a porn film where they would chase girls around and group them with their plungers.
Oh, that sucks.
There's somebody here laughing with a laugh of personal experience in the front row.
Who can forget Debbie Does Daleks? The films, they do take a while to get going because there's usually a long pause after the housewife says, "Why don't you come upstairs?"
I keep telling you, they float.
Get out.
Not Michael Billington from The Guardian, are you?
Does anyone here feel a bit sorry for the Daleks?
No, because they're a fictional creature.
And they'll be back.
Yeah.
Every few years they say, we're killing off the Daleks, and everyone goes, oh, no, not the Daleks, don't kill them. And then they say, all right, they're back. And there's a new plot twist. They fly. They're invisible. They run FIFA.
Which other incomprehensible TV star bent on world domination has found herself on the scrap heap this week?
Cheryl Cole.
That's right, yes. National treasure Cheryl Cole. She was sensationally axed as a judge on the US version of The X Factor. Who's going to be replacing her, Ian?
Come on, come on.
It's, I don't know either.
Richard?
Cheryl Cole will replace Cheryl Cole. She'll be back.
Do you think? I think you're
so.
right.
I think it's all a very cunning PR plan. Did you notice a lot of the papers referred to this last week as Cheryl Cole's Week of Hell? She gets paid £1.2 million for 4 days not doing any work. That is pretty annoying, isn't it?
She won't return to the US one. Maybe it is a bit of a ploy for the UK one.
Her new manager says that she'll have the Christmas #1 in America. He's
Really?
He's an idiot, but that's what he said.
They're saying that there was a few reasons, aren't they? Firstly, they're saying that the Yanks couldn't understand her because she talks funny. Secondly, she had no chemistry with fellow judge Paula Abdul. That's right, Ian.
Paula Abdul.
Of course, it was Simon who gave Cheryl her break in America. Unfortunately, it turned out to just be a weekend break. It seems a bit unfair to pick on Cheryl just because they can't understand her. I thought the Americans loved that.
You know, another big question that has to be asked, Greta, is are we at war? I haven't heard the president say that we are at war, and that's why I, too, am not knowing, do we use the term intervention? Do we use war? Do we use skirmish? What is it?
The fallout from Cheryl's sacking means it's unlikely she'll be going to Simon Cowell's wedding. Still, let's be honest, it's unlikely that he'll be going. According to friends, Cheryl has never felt more humiliated. And this is a woman whose ex-husband shot a work experience boy, was sick during sex with a hairdresser and sent pictures of his genitals to girls he hardly knew. By all accounts, Cheryl was sacked.
Did you not know?
No, I've no idea. I don't know who this woman is.
Do you want to hear my impression of Cheryl Cole?
Yes.
Oh, no, I've been fired.
Ian and Joe, here's another story for you.
That's Lord Taylor.
Waiting for his sentence.
Yep. Oh, he's been put in the Geoffrey Archer suite. It's a Tory peer who's been sent to jail for fiddling his expenses.
That's
which
right.
is a big story, because he's not Labour. And there's 4 Labour peers in there, waiting.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall when he's in the cell with his cellmate. And say, what are you in for? Yeah, pretending I live in Oxford. You're the lowest of the low.
What exactly did he do wrong?
We lived in Ealing and he said he lived in Oxford. Didn't seem that bad to me.
He was claiming your money to live in both of them, though.
Give him 2 years.
It was a bit worse than that. He claimed bogus travel and overnight expenses worth £11,277 by telling the House of Lords his main home was Oxford. But he also claimed that he had lived with his mother in the Midlands until 2007. But what slightly undermined this...
No, she died years
You're right,
before.
yeah, according to the Mirror, she died in 2001.
He could have been living with her, sort of psycho.
Yeah.
But, you know,
In an Ed Guiney style-y.
He's a bright guy, he's a clever guy, and you'd think, why would he tell such a stupid, find-outable lie like that? And the reason is that peers never had to produce a single piece of evidence to support their claims. You know, why is it that MPs endorse our passports when they're 4 times more likely to get a jail than we are?
It's extraordinary. You can go
Enjoy
to jail
yourself.
and then come out and say, like Lord Archer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it requires an Act of Parliament
That's
to get
fair,
rid of a
isn't it?
peer.
That is fair.
Oh, you'd think they could slip in an act for Geoffrey.
He also said that he kept lying about it until the last minute. He kept making up more and more stories, and that's what made it so much worse.
Yeah.
But this thing about him denying it right up to the end, that sounds quite interesting. Were they sort of in court saying, well, your mother's dead? No, she isn't. Well, producer, she's gone shopping. When will she be back? About an hour. And then in the end, yeah, he says, I'll just go and get her, goes round the door and comes back in a wig. My son been here, and then goes back and... Did you see her? Did you see her?
The giveaway was she sounded like Alan Bennett as well.
On the subject of thieving, Richard... No, not that. Old story. I'm interested in the fact that you suspected Liam Gallagher of burgling your house?
And his brother, because at the time that they were sort of in a school band, they now say, or they used to say, they've stopped saying it now because I think they're getting older, a bit more embarrassed, that at that time they were doing a bit of robbing. And they lived about 5 streets away from us. And we got done at about the period that they said that they were doing it. So we were at a party and they were there, and I asked them. And they said they couldn't remember.
What did they steal?
Well, I was lying in bed, it was about 6 o'clock on a Monday morning, and my son Jack came up to me, he was about 6, and he went downstairs to watch the cartoons, and he came up and he said, Daddy, what have you done with the television? I think we've had burglar Bill.
No.
I think the Gallagher boys have been around, Jack.
After the burglary, was there a sort of faint whiff of Beatles parody about it?
They can't even remember which houses they did.
What would you?
I remember every one.
You had a great statistic in your magazine, I think it was this week, that MPs are statistically 4 times more likely to go to jail than you guys. Notice I don't include me, but you guys. 4 times more likely to go to jail.
Look at them, they're stunned. They're thinking, only 4?
It's incredible. How did you work that out?
Just numbers.
OK.
This is Lord Taylor of Warwick, who has been jailed for 12 months for fiddling his expenses. He claimed an allowance of £11,277 for travel between London and Oxford. Mind you, it was a Friday afternoon, and he did buy the ticket at the station. According to The Independent, he will continue to be Lord Taylor of Warwick while he is in prison. Yeah, that's exactly what they're going to call him. As in, give me your snout or I'll tear you a new arsehole, Lord Taylor of Warwick. Paul and Richard, here's another story for you.
Blackpool Town.
Yes, Blackpool. Yeah, that's obviously that's obviously Blackpool.
The big one.
Yeah, there we are. There's the Blackpool roller coasters. Yeah, blimey. There's been this is part of the drilling that's been going on. There's been this sort of there's been an earthquake in Blackpool. Well, there we are. That's probably a simulation of it there. There's been earthquakes in Blackpool due to this fact that they've been drilling. There we are. Look, it's very obvious. You drill down.
The words.
Yeah, it's matching the words. Fracking. It's called fracking. So it passes the fracking drill. So you. Your fracking self. So you never...
That's absolutely 100% right, yeah. Since it started in the area, Blackpool has experienced 2 earthquakes, which are being blamed on the fracking drilling.
Yeah.
Do you know what happened when the earthquake hit Blackpool?
Yes, it caused £20 worth of damage.
Well,
A
actually...
mile worth of buildings knocked down.
Did the alarm go off on those, you know, those 2p shove machines?
The 1.5 magnitude earthquake struck at around 1 a.m. Yes, it's an earthquake. According to the Telegraph, several residents experienced the tremors. But that's Blackpool for you on a Friday night. What evidence is there that the earthquake in Blackpool might be connected to the drilling by a company called Quadrilla? Do you know?
The earthquake happened when they were drilling, and it stopped when they stopped drilling.
It occurred at the same time as fluids were being injected underground to blast rock apart. Mark Miller, chief executive of Quadrilla Resources, told the BBC, "We take our responsibilities very seriously, and that is why we've stopped the fracking operation." Richard, you like to be beside the seaside, don't you? Here's a message you tweeted last week. Bought self best prez.
Oh, yeah.
It's a tide clock.
Fabulous.
You sync it to the tide on your part of the coast, and it tells you at a glance what the state of the tide is.
Best buy of the year thus
Sounds
far.
fantastic.
It's great.
Why did you feel the need to tweet this? Could you not say to yourself, I bought a clock, it's very nice, good for me,
Because I've...
and then carry about your business without disturbing the rest of us?
Well, I'll tell you the truth. I'm quite a regular tweeter, and if I don't tweet about 4 or 5 times a day, I hate this word, but followers get a bit nouty. So, yeah, come on.
Nouty?
Nouty. That's a Blackpool word.
Oh, is it? OK, nouty.
Cross.
Sorry.
And it
Your
was about...
followers get a bit naughty.
And it was about 8 o'clock...
Is this what the Lord Buddha thought? Oh, I must share my revelations, or my followers will get a bit...
No, it was just that it was about 8 o'clock at the end of that particular day, and nothing remotely interesting had happened all day, and that was the only thing I could think about to tweet.
Why don't you just do something interesting?
That's why I bought a tide clock.
Put the phone over here.
Yeah.
Go for a life over here.
To me, Ian, a tide clock is interesting.
Oh, right.
And I stand by it.
No, I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying I didn't have to know that.
Well, it got a very enthusiastic response.
Did it?
People kept saying, what state is the tide in now, Rich? Saying, it's half hour. What's it like now, Rich? It's coming in.
I think you're about to get a few more followers.
Quality stuff on my site, mate.
This is the earthquake that rocked Blackpool. It measured 1.5 on the Richter scale and caused several £1,000s worth of improvement. According to The Independent, the Blackpool tremor was 12 billion times smaller than the recent earthquake in Japan, so do please keep those donations coming in. The Blackpool earthquake is not the largest recorded in the UK. According to the Telegraph, one took place in 1931, which measured 4.6 higher on the Richter scale. The epicentre was Dogger Bank, where, coincidentally, a lot of fracking goes on. So on to round 2, the picture spin quiz. Fingers on buzzers, teams. Ian.
Oh, I know. No, I was lying.
We don't know what it is.
Oh, well, this is the news that police in Barnsley are trying to stamp out swearing by introducing an £80 fine in the town centre. I'm assuming then you won't know why it's been introduced.
Is it because people tend to get off the train and immediately swear?
According to the Mail, the police were urged to act by business leaders who claimed yobs were putting off shoppers.
I can imagine them now.
I know.
With their trainers and their tracksuits.
The fine is being introduced this month. What will happen to people who swear in July?
Is it half rates for the summer?
Well, the initiative is only in operation during June. Thank fuck for that.
It'd be nice if they did a sort of flash mob where on the last day of June everyone stood there looking at their watch. They were absolutely nuts. Nothing you can do, mate.
Speaking of inappropriate behaviour in public, how much would you find this bloke?
Το λόγο που βρίσκομαι, πολλοί λόγοι υπάρχουν, όχι ένας. Ο Θανάσης δεν ξυπνάει, δεν πρέπει να ξυπνήσει. Οι Έλληνες κοιμούνται με τα παπούτσια στο κρεβάτι. Μαζόχες είναι.
Fingers on buzzers, teams.
Yes, I've seen this picture. This is talking benches. Is it the National Trust or somebody the department is responsible for benches? There'll be various benches throughout the country, and you sit on these benches, and you'll have the voice of John Sargent there, or Stephen Fry, Joe Brand, Miranda Hard, I think. So it's sort of you can be just sitting down there, and suddenly a voice will tell you through your trousers what you're looking at.
So you're absolutely right, Paul. Why are they doing this?
To spread the magnificent culture of the English landscape through people's trousers.
I'd like a seat in the foyer of the Royal Courts of Justice. If you sit on it, my voice would come out and say, "You're going to lose."
What did the great British public have to say about the benches?
We don't care.
Yeah, well, they were typically enthusiastic, actually. Q2 Cool on the Sky message board wrote that the benches will only increase the sum total amount of misery available in the world. Adding, as if life wasn't hard enough already. So this is the scheme by the National Trust in which celebrity voices come out of so-called talking benches. Interestingly, there's also a bush on Hampstead Heath where if you stand around long enough and listen, you'll hear George Michael's voice. If you go to a certain park in South London and sit on a bench, you'll hear Michael Barrymore's voice as he'll be f***ing hell, Richard.
Sorry.
You've got your phone on.
I thought I'd switched it off.
You'll be able to tweet about this later on, won't you?
Hang on a sec. OK, and send. Right, thanks for that. Sorry about that.
It's OK, I'm just going to finish this email. If you go to a certain park in South London and sit on a bench, you'll hear Michael Barrymore's voice as he'll be sitting next to you telling you how he used to be famous. Fingers on buzzers, please.
This is a dress made out of cheese. Due to the economy going down the pan, people can't afford textiles anymore, but they can afford to wear dairy products. It's cheese.
It is cheese. Fashion students from Bath Spa University have made a new summer collection of clothing out of cheese.
Yeah.
What sort of items did they create?
Cheese dress, onion trousers. Cheese and onions. There you go as a complete package. With a pickled waistcoat.
According to the Mail, they offered a range of dresses, including a ball gown encrusted with melted cheddar. There you go. Obviously, if you want to accessorise with a dainty clutch bag hewn from a single block of cheddar, you could use something like that. Student Lisa Dillon even made a gorgeous pair of shoes. Here they are. Do you know what she's calling them?
Some cheese-based pun.
Yes, Jimmy Cheese.
Jimmy Cheese. It'll take us 4 years to get to that one. I bought myself a pair of cheese trousers once, and I stayed at a hotel, I put them in a Corby press, and the next morning I was wearing Welsh Rabbit. It was really terribly embarrassing.
Would Judy wear cheese?
No. Would you?
No, God, no, not in the summer anyway. In other food news, what's being hailed as the greatest invention since sliced bread?
Cheese.
Toast.
Sliced cheese.
Sliced cheese on toast.
It's a sandwich which you can buy in a can or a candwich. It lasts for 1 whole year.
No one's going to nick that from the fridge at work, are they?
Here's one in action.
No, don't eat it.
Please don't eat it.
I've always waited for something to make the pot noodle look sophisticated, and I didn't realise I've finally seen it. It's a sandwich in a tin.
The candwich has garnered a lot of attention online, naturally. Desiree from Las Vegas, she said... The barbecue chicken one looks like a hot dog bun taking a dump. Yes, Desiree, I suppose it sort of does. So this is a fashion collection created by students at Bath Spa University, which includes a dress made entirely out of cheese. At last, Lady Gaga's fans have a vegetarian option. Time now for the odd one out round. Just one between you this week. The Peruvian national anthem, the Dostoevsky metro station, Howard from the Halifax adverts, and Eeyore.
Howard, from the Halifax ads, no longer works for the Halifax.
Oh. What does he do now?
He's working for Royal Bank of Scotland. And I think Eeyore has left.
What?
No, I'm not having that.
Is that not...
The Peruvian national anthem is considered very dreary by people in Peru. They want to change it. They want a much more optimistic, upbeat, we are from Peru, we are, that's what we do. They want something like that rather than, we're from Peru. So I think, so in Eeyore's notoriously gloomy, so therefore they've all been sort of changed or sacked because they're gloomy, apart from Howard, who is not gloomy but has been sacked anyway.
Oh, you are so right. They're all too miserable, apart from Howard Brown from the Halifax adverts, who was taken off the bank's advertising campaigns because he was too chirpy for the recession.
That's a shame.
Does anyone know what accolade Howard's Halifax adverts enjoyed? According to The Sun, they managed to come an admirable third in a survey of most annoying adverts of all time. Injury Lawyers for You was #1, and Iceland, of course.
What, the country?
Do you remember when Iceland, the country, used to be called B-Jams? It's funny, a comedy word, B-Jams. Friend, he's got a B, he's got a J in it, it's an am, B-Jams. Iceland, it does it. But B-Jams, funny.
Have you ever shopped in Iceland?
No. I couldn't stand what they did to B-Jams.
Well, first of all, Peru's national anthem.
Yeah.
The Peruvian man called Julio Davalos has spent £100,000 of his own money campaigning to change his country's national anthem because he thinks it's too miserable.
Yes.
I presume you're familiar with it?
You can spot the Peruvians and new ones, they'll stand to attention.
For a long time, the oppressed Peruvian, the ominous chain he dragged, condemned to cruel servitude, for a long time, for a long time, for a long time, he quietly whimpered. I'm not 100% sure what the tune is, but I'm guessing it's Still, it's not just Peru that's got a really gloomy anthem. Would you know the Colombian one by any chance?
Yeah,
Let's
would
all
you like
kill
to buy some powder?
In agony, the Virgin tears out her hair and, widowed of her love, hangs it from a cypress. Regretting her hope, is covered by a cold tombstone.
What's their national flag, a shroud?
While taking a slightly more direct approach, the anthem of Congo asks, and if we have to die, does it really matter? But you were right about the metro station in Moscow, named after the gloomy writer Dostoevsky. Yeah. It's been criticised for being too depressing.
What's Abraham Lincoln doing? A Russian tube station.
It depicts violent scenes from the writer's novels. One shows a suicide-obsessed character holding a pistol to his temple. Another is of the moment when the main character in Crime and Punishment murders an elderly pawnbroker and her sister with an axe.
Commuting's pretty tough at the best of times.
So they're going to call it the PG Woodhouse station.
Well, that would be
A
nice.
big picture of Jeeves. Yeah. What, commuters?
Pop a picture of Eeyore in there.
Yes.
You know, put a bit of shine back in your day.
He's quite gloomy, though, Eeyore.
There's a new Disney cartoon. Has he been written out of it?
Yeah, the Americans are doing a version, and the new character's called Yee-Haw. It's a really upbeat kind of donkey. Yeah. Should we go on an expedition, Eeyore? Yeah! Great.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that, yeah. Remember the first expedition I went on was 1867. I was young kind of good. I was a shrewd donkey then, but I'm much older now, yeah.
I'm auditioning for any roles. I also do German U-boat captains at the drop of a hat. What's going on? This is the only thing I do.
I get my German U-boat captain.
Guess who it sounds like?
Oh, no, it's depth charging.
They're all too miserable, apart from Howard Brown from the Halifax Adverts, who was taken off the bank's advertising campaign because he was too chirpy for the recession. The Independent describes the Dostoevsky metro station with its depressing murals as the Mecca for suicides. Not to be confused with the Mecca for suicide bombers, which is Mecca. According to the Times, the murals at the Dostoevsky metro station have been condemned as grim and suicidal, with Pravda questioning whether such images should be on the metro. To be honest, as long as nobody makes eye contact with me and I've got a seat, I really don't care. Time now for the Missing Words round, which this week features as its guest publication The Palindromist, a journal for people who write and read palindromes. This week's edition includes classic palindromes such as Madam, I'm Adam, an unlikely scenario where a male palindromist actually communicates with a lady. And we start with, tell people you write palindromes and they'll ask what?
They'll ask, what is a palindrome? A lot of people think it's an unmanned aircraft that attacks Sarah Palin. They'll ask, are you the sort of person who's got a Tide clock?
The answer is, how do you do that?
Yeah, we all thought it was a misprint for why.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Let's go on to the next one. Finnegan's Wake is rumoured to have an epic palindrome about two-thirds of the way through, but what?
No one has ever got two-thirds of the way through Finnegan's Wake.
This is a myth. It doesn't.
Is it?
That was actually the right answer.
Oh, was it?
Yes, Finnegan's Wake is rumoured to have an epic palindrome about two-thirds of the way through, but no one has ever read that far, so it can't be verified.
I said that just out of personal experience.
I thought Ulysses was the really difficult one. Is it Finnegan's Wake?
No, Ulysses is quite good.
Is it?
Yeah. Finnegan's Wake's completely incomprehensible. I don't think he had a clue when he wrote it what it meant. It's like Cheryl Cole.
Really? According to the author of this article, James Joyce was an accidental palindromist. In my view, the best kind. Next, Nick. This isn't the time or the place to what?
Mutate into a higher species.
Is this from The Palindromist, or is this real?
This is real.
And is it Nick Clegg?
Yes.
Then it is Cry, isn't it?
The answer is row about the NHS. This was David Cameron and Nick Clegg bickering about the NHS during Barack Obama's visit to Parliament. In the exchange, they sounded like an old married couple, right up to the moment when Nick Clegg says, well, if you don't know why I'm upset, I'm not going to tell you. Next, I'm not what, but my identical twin is.
Ugly.
I'm not a practising pork butcher.
It's not that either.
Conjoined.
And the answer is a benefits cheat. This is the newly published list of excuses given by people who are sponging off the state. The list includes, I wasn't working, it was my identical twin. We're not together, he lives in a caravan in the drive. And my bank's too big to fail.
The best one of those ones I saw was a man who claimed he had no idea that his wife had a job because when she was out of the house, it coincided with the time he spent in the shed.
Next, Evil Bob what?
The palindrome.
In Norfolk?
Yeah, Evil Bob the palindrome in Norfolk.
Is it Evil Bob the Builder builds hill?
Oh, I know this one. It's Ainsworth.
The answer is
Yeah.
for sale. This is Evil Bob the dog, whose owner is keen to be rid of him due to his bad breath, wonky teeth and bad behaviour. According to the owner, he should not be left unsupervised indoors as he steals food off the side, licks the cooker and pees at terrier height. Sounds like my old boyfriend. So the final scores are... Ian and Joe have 6, Paul and Richard have 9.
Oh, well done.
But before we go, there's just time for the caption competition.
This is a long game of cards.
Yeah. This is the worst game of strip poker I've ever played.
And I leave you with news that in Cumbria there's evidence that eating too much spinach can be bad for you. As auditions begin for a new series of The Only Way is Essex, one hopeful is rejected on the grounds that she's simply too classy. And in London, there's a bad moment for mayoral candidate Ken Livingstone as he gets knocked over by a bus. Good night.
Lisa Tarbuck and Phil Jupiter's our game in QIXL next here on BBC Two, followed by our movie Enigma. Kate Winslet stars in this gripping World War II spy thriller.